So, we're George, and I'm Jeb, and we're with Natasha as well here.
Hello.
Lovely people, I just met accidentally, thanks to destiny, lovely people. And, yeah, we're with George and Natasha this morning. They come from New York, they're two great artists. They've been performing in the streets of New York and all around the world for years and years, spreading their philosophy, love, and message. And at the moment they are living, they are floating. Their notes are floating here in these canals. It is a peaceful London. And very quiet London, according to George and Natasha, compared to New York, isn't it?
Yes.
Which is a frenetic city, crazy city, where everyone is in a rush, everyone is following the desire, everyone is concentrating on working, on making money, and not thinking about life at all. I mean, this kind of life where people that focus on working and working every time to achieve that kind of desire designed by the world, by the advertisement, by the sorry, a little technical issue. Everything is alright. And I was saying. So people don't have time. What about your time? How do you invest your time?
Usually, I have a daily routine of meditating, contemplating early in the morning. I try to wake up a couple hours before I need to get up, and I just think about what I'm going to achieve that given day. And I have certain things that I need to do, and then I try to add some creative things. The hustle and bustle of the rat race is what I'm really interested in avoiding, because I was forced into, around the year 30 years old, when I became around 30 years old, I had that midlife crisis of what I was going to do with my life, and was I on the right track, and what are other people doing in my peer group compared to me. And I had a major breakthrough, because I found that the advice of living simply is just so powerful. And this occurred on the Navajo Indian Reservation, where I was squatting. My first squat experience was squatting in a solar greenhouse in the Navajo Indian Reservation, which is in New Mexico, Arizona, and Utah area of the United States, the Four Corners. And my spiritual medicine man, who was a Navajo, Howard McKinley, he got me into thinking about getting out of the yuppie lifestyle that I was in, where I had to have a room and it had to have heat, and it had to be middle class oriented, materialistically equipped. He got me thinking about, what if I just moved into the solar greenhouse that he had control of, because he was the head of the senior council of the local government in Fort Defiance, Arizona. He said, why don't you just think about moving into the greenhouse? And then you don't have any problems with rent, you don't have any problems with heat because it's solar. And I was in a very difficult position because I was struggling with some political economic challenges. And it seemed like a really smart idea to move into the greenhouse. And so I tried it. And lo and behold,
And occupying empty spaces. It was also something like related obviously to sustainability and also to reclaim back the empty spaces. Otherwise, all the councils,
Yeah.
all the councils wasn't considered unless some speculator, would ask
to me,
for building
yeah.
a new environment. And which one was the A that couldn't break inside these creating space? If they were creating space where everyone used to collaborate, what kind of relationship you establish with your I don't know what to call it, followers or comrades or simple fellow. But anyway, I think there was something that you used to share with your group. And I think what can you say about that? I mean, were you moved? Were you pushed by the same feeling, by the same philosophy, by the same idea to change the world?
Exactly. I was on the Navajo Indian reservation to try to assist them in their struggle because they're still having the same struggle now. That was back in 1979 when I was 30. Now it's, 41 years. It's 41 years. The Navajo is still having the same struggle. It was the invitation of my elder, medicine man, Howard Finley, that got me realizing that I was just really missing out in my yuppie way of living. That if I could just release my attachment on comfort, then I could gather in some power that would enable me to do things which ordinarily I wouldn't be able to do. I was doing some incredible things at that time for the Navajo people. It was involving corruption, uncoverage.
Devletten yardım almak daha iyi olabilir.
Coming to the aid of the community which was being exploited. And wow, it was such a powerful experience to be able to squat, which I believe is a natural human right. Just like this pigeon here is going around making its living. Birds to me are one of the prime animals to watch and see how they cope with the requirements of life. I've learned so much from the birds. These birds that are coming here now, the Canadian geese, they squat everywhere they go. Everywhere they go. And look at the food. The food is already out there on the table for them. They're eating algae. And people, on the other hand, and we were just discussing before you came a question about Van Gogh, the brilliant painter, and the way he ended up shooting himself in the chest because he couldn't come up with enough money to satisfy what his material needs were. Just imagine if Van Gogh had learned how to squat. Now squatting is not easy because you can squat outside. You get a campground, for example. That's my major way of squatting. And then I start camping. The culture that we're in looks at that as being homeless. I don't look at camping as being homeless because if you have a camp, that means that camp is your camp every single day. So you don't have to move whatever you're living in if you happen to be living in a tent.
Like you said, the old world is your home.
Yes.
Wherever you go, even if you're a nomad, you're gonna have, the practice of nomadism is
It's very difficult.
It's nearly disappeared unless
Yeah, it's extremely difficult.
it's extremely different
Yeah.
nowadays. Unless for some population in Himalaya or Mongolia where they still in Africa where they still
To me, that separates means that you at least have one or two places that you can lay down your domicile, which may be a hut or a tent or a sleeping bag or whatever, and you don't have to move. That to me is a huge step forward out of poverty, because nomads are the epitome and definition of poverty-stricken people. But look at the gypsies, which is one of the groups of people that I've studied. They have such a wonderful lifestyle, and they're squatting every single minute of the day, and they move regularly, but they have routes that they go to, different places that they go to. So like right now, I'm blessed in having 3 places to squat. I have a hut to squat in, 5 blocks from here. I have another tent to squat in, 8 miles from here on the Grand Union Canal. And then I have this wonderful boat that's been donated for me to live in. But again, to me, squatting is a human right, just like migration should be a human right, like the birds that we're looking at right now, the seagulls and the geese and the swans and the hoots. They go across borders anytime they want to. They don't ask anybody for a visa. They just squat wherever they feel like squatting, and they don't bother other animals. If you notice these animals, they don't come to a place and drive out another group of animals. They don't do that. They go to a vacant place, and that's what I try to do. Not only do I go to a vacant place, but I also try to leave that place as clean as when I first came. So
Never.
this epiphany that happened to me at around 30 years old completely changed my life, because I saw the advantages if I could get over being humiliated. If you can get over the humiliation of squatting, because there's a humiliation that comes with squatting. If you can get over that, which is really easy, by just simply saying to yourself, well, I know I'm being humiliated, but then on the other hand, if I look at the magic square financially, every day I squat is worth 30 pounds. Because that's what you'd have to pay if you were in a decent room or a flat.
you put a money
I put a monetary
matter on
I put a monetary thing on it, because that's how you can get your brain, which is totally controlled by materialistic programming, get your brain to do something it doesn't want to do. It was very hard for me to start camping. It was extremely hard, because I've been raised to think that if I don't have a place to stay, if I'm not in a motel room, that I'm not in a hotel room, then I'm a bum. This is very hard to get over. And a lot of people that camp out are roam, nomad. They can't get over that, so they start drinking. And again, this goes back to the artist that we were just talking about, who killed himself because he couldn't get over the humiliation of not being on his own, having to ask his brother for money every day to live. It's very humiliating to have to do that. So Van Gogh drank, and that's generally what most people do to deal with the humiliation of their lifestyle. Now, if you reprogram your thinking and your values, as I'm doing, and I'm telling you, the trick is everybody's subconscious mind is programmed to materialism. You mean to tell me that if I could figure out how to live outside, that I'm making $30 a day, and that's $900 a month, and therefore I can then not go and do this job. I can instead do what I want to do, which is write my books in independent Egyptology. I have a book in independent Egyptology that is matchless. There is no other book like it in the entire world,
George.
and it's been out there for quite a while.
Can I ask
Yes,
something? Do you think then, for example, squatting, which is for the normal society, for the society designed nowadays, it might appear like an extreme way to live. But do you think that this difference already represents an humiliation, or do you consider humiliation the judgment from the outsiders? What squatting means. But it's not only squatting, it's like having a different lifestyle, because we grew up with these standards of waking up, studying, having a family, having a job, a successful job. Otherwise, we are not accepted. Otherwise, we are gonna auto-exclude ourselves from the society, and in that case, also humiliated. So this creates a kind of sense of minority, inferiority.
Absolutely.
And so that's why people start to abuse with drugs and alcohol. Do you think that, which is the secret to avoid all these prejudgment, all this bias from the society?
To me, again, it's the way one looks at what one is doing. In other words, if one is squatting because you have no other choice, you can't figure out any other way to make it, then you're going to feel humiliated. But if you're squatting because you have a purpose, and that purpose is to lower your overhead. Now see, one of the things about our mind is that we think that if we get a job and get money from someone, that's making it. But what the spiritualist who taught me the secret taught me was that if I lower my overhead, that's the same as getting paid. If I lower my overhead 30 pounds a day, and I can successfully meet my objective of not having to move my camp, being able to construct or bring in a tent or a hut, then all of a sudden, I'm not humiliated. All of a sudden, I've come up with a winning formula, an alternative, because there should be an alternative to getting a job and working for somebody and doing something that one doesn't want to do. For example, I've been laughing the last couple of days about the actor Samuel Jackson, who's a very successful actor. He's gifted. But he had to admit 3 weeks ago, that he had to quit what he wanted to do, which was be a vegan, because the filmmaker saw that he lost 15 pounds. And they said to him, either you start eating meat or you're going to get fired from this job. Now, I'm telling you, to me, Samuel Jackson is nothing more than a high-priced slave. He's an actor slave. Because what he's trying to do is to do what is natural for a human being, and that is to follow the natural order of things, because we are vegan. We're not supposed to be eating meat. So I feel sorry for Samuel. I mean, and I look at myself and I see how powerful I am, because I've been doing the vegan lifestyle for 45 years. And every time someone comes to me and demands that I eat meat, I start laughing at them, because I'm not going to do what you want me to do, because I already know that is a losing formula.
Never give up.
Never give up.
George, I got some technical questions about squatting and going around and occupying empty spaces.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to ask you, which one is the success? Which one are the successful tools that we need, the people need to bring with themselves in order to create a longeable, long lasting life squat? I mean, which one are the secrets for creating a powerful squat? So for creating a powerful message, it's not just about the physical